I'll never work in this town again, and that's okay. I don't really care. What I'm wearing here is an authentic 1950s straitjacket that I was never in, thank God. And of course, my Van Gogh sweatshirt to tell this story. I always thought I'd write a memoir, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. So anyway, I'm doing my solo show, I Am Ophelia, and I was thinking a lot about how cool my dad was and how he introduced me to acting. I remember when I was 13, I told him I wanted to be an actor, and he took me to an AA meeting, and I think it was on 43rd, but it was around 42nd Street, and he said, actors are just people like anybody else, and you're going to meet some of them right here in the meeting, and a lot of them are on Broadway right up the block. And so we all sat around, and different people raised their hand and said, "Hi, my name is so-and-so, and I've been sober for 2 weeks." Or, "My name is Joanne, and I've been sober for 4 years." Or, "My name is Bill, and I've been sober for 10 years. And then my dad raised his hand and said, "Hi, my name is Bob, and I've been sober for 5 minutes." And everybody started laughing. He was kind of like an actor to me, my dad. He used to say funny stuff like the greatest car chase scene that ever was not in Bullet because I was in it. But yeah, we were watching the movie Bullet, and for some reason that's when I decided I wanted to be an actor. But so when I was like 8 years old, my dad introduced me to Mary Tyler Moore, and she was really classy. And I remember my dad took her hand and kissed it, and she had all these cameras around and press and stuff, and he really could talk to anybody and charm anyone. It doesn't matter who it was. And he'd hang out with all kinds of people. Like, we would sleep on the streets, and he would hang out with homeless people and then sometimes bring them over to the house. And he would just hang out with all kinds of people. And that's another thing he would always tell me, that, don't judge somebody unless you've walked in their shoes. And yeah, so meeting Mary Tyler Moore was cool. I lost my keys and she found them and brought them to me, which was really sweet. She was very nice. And then one time we went to this diner. It was crazy. And he's like, "Don't order this because we don't have money." And I was like, "All right." And then the waitress looked like she knew him and was really mad at him. I don't know what was going on. Then she walked away, and he said, "That's Rocky Graziano's sister, the fighter." I was like, "Whoa." And he's like, "Yeah, he was drunk one day, and I saw him on the street." And I was like, "Oh, shit, that's Rocky Graziano." And I picked him up. Yeah, that was like another AA slogan my dad used to say. Never look down on somebody unless you're reaching to pick them up, something like that. And yeah, there was like other stories like that. And the coolest person probably ever met, because I love his acting, is John Turturro, but I won't say where I met him. I'll let him tell that story out of respect. But anyway, I always say that if anybody were to tell my story, I'd want it to be John Turturro, because I really trust him. I don't think he'd exploit me in any way. So I was the main subject of an HBO documentary, and when I was a patient and an artist at the Living Museum on the grounds of Creedmoor State Hospital, where I was a patient, inpatient, and outpatient. And anyway, I changed my mind, and it took me 6 months to pull out of the film. And these are some of the photos from on the set and the Living Museum that they took. This was me back then. I don't know if you could see. But, I never had stars in my eyes. I never wanted to be rich or famous. I just wanted to be an artist. That was it. I just wanted to express myself. So this was in front of the Living Museum. Yeah, I got along great with HBO, for the record. I didn't get along with the hospital staff, and I pulled out of the film because I wasn't ready to say I had a mental illness. I didn't want that to define me because, you know, right away you're discredited, but really all artists are crazy. At least the good ones are. Sorry, I have to, you know what, I'll put myself in that category, I hope. But anyway, so as I get older, I realize, this is it. So I'm just going to be making my own work. I'll be writing and performing my own work and making my art. And that's what means something to me. And my solo play takes place in a mental hospital. So I hope you come see it. It's going to be at the Tank in New York City. It's an excerpt performance, which I'd like to expand the play a little bit longer, like at least a half an hour, 45 minutes. But for now, it's 15 minutes, and it's at the Tank on December 14th, 2025, on Sunday at 7 p.m. And I open the show, and we have a lot of other great artists and performers. So hope to see you there. Thanks. Bye.